I get DMs and questions all the time about how to be the best version of yourself. So in this video, we are gonna cover just that. But I decided that I'm actually gonna make this a series so that you can really absorb the information. But I wanna guide you through this in the most simplest way possible so you can actually leave with actionable steps. I understand that it's very overwhelming sometimes to sit and watch an entire video. So I'm gonna try to make this digestible, with each video being short and concise with one action item that you can do after you watch this video. But first, let me introduce myself. If you're new here, hello, my name is Krizia. I'm on a mission to helping you glow up from the inside out. I started my own personal glow up journey and then decided I really want to help other people who are also on their glow up journey as well. So if you're someone who's looking to level up your life, if this sounds like you or a journey that you're on, hit the subscribe button and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you get notified with every new video. Now let's get back to the video. I think back to a past version of myself because I was in your shoes too. I still am in this space very often. You're never going to get to an end point of the journey where you're like, I made it, I've conquered everything, and this is the best version of myself that I can be. There's always more room for improvement and there's always more to learn. But there was a point where I felt like I did not even know what the best version of myself could look like. Especially if you grew up in an immigrant household, our mindset is a lot more limited. Like, what does it even mean to be the best version of myself? And I don't just mean in my career, but like personally, figuring out who I am, shedding old layers. So today's video, there's gonna be one focus, right? I wanna take it very, very back to the basics, like to the beginning. I don't want you to overcomplicate things, because in the beginning stages of wanting to embark on a glow up journey of some sort, we tend to overthink and it paralyzes us from being able to take action. So what I want you to do is first, forget everything you know about the best version of yourself that you've always created in your mind, right? Just for now, just put it away. Let's start completely from scratch, because I also want to remind you, we tend to fixate on what feels familiar. So even if we've grown out of an identity, we sometimes cling onto it because it feels normal. It feels comfortable. It feels known. So you may have grown out of something like a career, for example, but because it's all you know, you will find ways to convince yourself that that is all that you are. But that's not true. Forget everything you know about your made-up identity of who you want to be for a second. When someone asks, how do I become the best version of myself? The first thing that comes to mind is, well, who do you want to be? What does that best version of yourself even look like? We can't be vague. We can't just say, I want to be successful, I want to be confident, I want to be happy. No, what does the best version of you look like on a regular schmegular day, on a regular basis? What kind of things are you eating? How do you dress? How do you feel, most importantly? What kind of friendships and relationships do you have? Don't just emulate everything that you've seen on social media or an influencer that you absolutely look up to. It's okay to incorporate parts of that, maybe in the beginning, especially if you don't really have any idea and that's a starting point for you. Yes, but always remember, we are all unique people, so we can't just emulate someone forever. We have to embrace the uniqueness of ourselves. So step one, what does the best version of myself look like? If you need to pause this video so you can write it down, I highly recommend that. Bring out your notebook, bring out a pen, bring out your phone, whatever is easiest for you, and start brainstorming. What I find easiest when thinking about this question is, what brings me the most joy? Okay, this is a good place to start, because by nature, there are certain things that make us happy. Do you like waking up early? Do you want to wake up early? Like, not because somebody told you to, but like, do you actually want to be a morning person? Make it very simple in your mind. What are some things that your best version of you would be doing that you can think of? If it's being a 5 a.m. girly, then fine, write that down. If it's you want to start being a Pilates girl, write that down too. When you think of the best version of yourself, what are the top 3 words that come to mind? That can help simplify it. And then also, what are the top qualities that come to mind? Just start brainstorming. We need to do this more regularly every season of life. Just because you may have been a 5 a.m. girly 2 years ago doesn't mean that you need to be now. I think it's really important to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves if we're being authentic to who we are now. It's important to know where you stand today, and don't just think that because once upon a time you were this way means that you're that way forever. There's so many things that have changed in my life in the past year alone, but let alone like a decade. If you let a 5-year or 10-year period go by in your life and you haven't asked yourself these questions, it's a sign that you probably should. If you want to keep growing, you're constantly evolving, so you're constantly looking for new ways to become a better version of yourself. And a tip here I want to give you is be flexible, because a lot of times, like, I had this issue myself. Like, I would just fixate on who I thought I wanted to be. And I was like, no, I can't give up on that. Like, when I first moved to LA, I wanted to be in music. I wanted to make being a pop star my dream. But as time goes on, I realized that I actually did not genuinely want that. I really was attracted to a certain lifestyle of freedom and creativity, and it wasn't necessarily tied to music. And this took a lot of inner work for me to reveal to myself. If I would have just hyper fixated on, no, this is my path, like, I need to be a musician in order for me to live my dream life, then I would have never revealed all these other blessings along the way. And ultimately where I am today, which is me genuinely happy and the most authentic I've ever felt my entire life. So the tip is be flexible. Just because you've set a goal on something in the past doesn't mean it needs to be your goal anymore. It doesn't always align as you evolve. As you grow, as you mature, things might start to reveal itself to you, but you do have to ask these questions in order for those answers to reveal to you. Because if you just stay closed-minded and you think you can control the how you get somewhere, then that's where you lose the magic in life. But we do want to know why certain things inspire us. Why are we inspired to achieve this goal? The why matters more than the how and the when. This is a huge tip, because I used to get so stuck on, well, how am I going to be this? And when am I going to make that happen? We just can't control those things. But we can control why it matters to us. Sometimes we grow out of things and we just haven't asked ourselves the right questions to know it. So I want you to take this moment to really think about why you feel inspired to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. Which leads me to the next point, hobbies. I don't want to hear from people who say this all the time, like, I don't have hobbies. I don't know what I'm interested in. I just don't know. I don't know. It's not that you don't know, it's just that you've buried it so far behind everything that you just can't think of it clearly. The best way to think of this is, when you were a kid, what did you enjoy or what did you want to do before the world came into our lives and gave us consequences of why we can't choose certain paths or why we can't be certain ways? Before all those opinions clouded our judgment, what did we desire as kids? What did we feel the most free in? There has to be something. I want you to really think about this, because the answers are there. Having hobbies at the core of this foundation is going to really help you long term, because hobbies, they may change a little bit here and there, but the purpose of our hobbies tends to bring the same thing out of us. It tends to do something for our inner child. To simplify all of this, I want you to think of the 3 pillars. When it comes to your hobbies, there are 3 pillars. Just write a bunch of things down for each pillar, and then we're gonna circle the top ones at the end. Having a health or fitness focused hobby. This could be daily walks, tennis, Pilates, volleyball, running, something that's going to help move your body. The second pillar is your inner child hobby. This is something that brings you joy and kind of heals your inner child. I want to call this the creative hobby, but I know not everyone thinks of themselves as a creative, but I would argue that it is creative in some way, shape, or form, because our inner child loves creativity. And it doesn't have to mean drawing or painting or making clothes. It could be something that just feeds that creative side of our brain and heals our inner child. This could be picking flowers, starting gardening, reading a book. I mean, really, it could be anything. Something that just lights you up. And the third pillar, let's call this the skill building hobby. Something that's going to strengthen your skills in some way. Maybe that's improving typing. Maybe that's looking to edit videos for someone. Are you looking to make content? What is something that could develop your skills? Learning how to communicate. The whole point of this is to just do a quick check-in and start completely from scratch. Again, this whole first phase, I want you to think of as just collecting data. The very first part of becoming the best version of you is, what does this version of you even look like? And in this part 1 of this series, it's collecting information, it's collecting data. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna write those lists of hobbies under each of these 3 pillars, and then you're gonna circle the top 2 or 3. Do something after this video that can get you started on building momentum in that area. Whether that's downloading an app where you can meet people who are also interested in these things. As someone who's always wanted to be a Pilates girl, I joined ClassPass, and then I took a couple Pilates classes until I found the studio that I am obsessed with and I go to all the time now. And then I started really just rebuilding a new version of me that was making me feel happy and good about myself. And then that leads to the next phase. I don't want to overcomplicate it, so that's phase 1. The next phase coming up will be a follow-up based on this. So make sure again to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified of the next upload. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down below, I'm ready, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.